And I apologize to Faffer and folks over there at the Lion's Pride Tavern. The last 2 weeks, I have not been at the raid.
Has their success rate gone up significantly in that time? Or
He did kill Jaden without me again.
did you get any thank you cards or anything like that?
Their success rate's gone up since I've left. Little by little, I was boxing things up and getting things ready, so I was packing. It just wasn't available. But
yeah, they're like, no apology necessary. Trust me.
You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast with Dex and Mac. I got mouths to feed, so let's get this thing started. Time is money, friend.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Azeroth. You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast, your guide to making gold in World of Warcraft. This is episode 58. I'm your host, Dex, coming to you from Napa, California. With me on Skype is a man who never fights with his sister because the makeup sex would be way too awkward, my co-host, Mac, from Anchorage, Alaska. How you doing, Mac?
dude, that is just so wrong.
I'm actually fairly proud of that one.
Oh, man.
And not because I know your sister either.
That is so.
I don't have to do the backup joke, do I? We can go with that one. Good. We're good with that one.
We're doing step or... No,
he likes that one, actually. He's just pretending to not like it.
Oh, my word. You're so wrong, man.
That is really disgusting, and nobody
again, if you'd like to send, if you have any hate mail you want to send, you can send it to Dex. That's DX@GoblinGoldcast.com.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to send me hate mail and say it's not awkward at all, and you want to go against me on that, go ahead.
You are so wrong, man. Oh man.
Well, I tried to find a better joke.
I have this mental image that'll never get out of my head now.
Well, that's good. I tried to find a better joke. I got on Google and everything, but I'm having some issues with Google at the moment. I'm starting to think that Google's a woman because it won't let me finish a sentence without coming up with other suggestions. So, you might want this. No, I don't want that.
You're not doing it right.
Oh, God. Actually, I've never heard that before. Evidently, it's something that strikes a chord with you. So I'm gonna leave that lie. So anyway,
just so wrong, man.
I'm going to be trying to pick fights between you and your sister all week now. So,
she doesn't listen like your wife, so we're good.
But if she listens and she gets mad, I'm just saying.
I'll just send her your way, man.
No, man. You got to make it right.
There's nothing right about that opening joke.
All right, now that I broke my co-host, how was your week this week? I know that it's been a little longer than a week. We're starting to slack off a little bit as we're getting kind of late in the expansion. It's getting fewer and far between, but this last week we also had you were moving and dealing with a little bit of being under the weather.
Yeah. We actually changed houses. We moved. It's only about a three block move, but we doubled our our living space. Unfortunately,
it's always good.
Moving's a pain in the keister.
It is.
We're still living in boxes. I haven't had a lot of playtime this last week or so, but yeah, we got over to the new place, got everything in here. My kitchen set up. The very first night we had our internet hooked up. So the first night we spent the night, we had internet and TV, and then we still had a couple days to finish moving things over here. So we've got things over here. We've got a lot of things in the garage, a lot of things downstairs in our living room. You really can't sit on the sofa because there's still boxes on top of the sofa.
Yeah. And anybody who just heard that came over, that's another side effect. he hasn't been able to get his studio all soundproofed and everything, so he's kind of dealing with some highway noise.
Yeah, I've got acoustic tiles on the way, acoustic foam on the way, so I can soundproof my office. I've actually, since I moved 3 blocks, I've moved 3 blocks closer to the main thoroughfare, and now it's right outside the gate, outside my window. So we do have a little more traffic. I apologize for the extra noise that you're going to be hearing in the background. Hopefully in another week or so, I should have all the acoustic foam up in the office, and it'll be a little quieter.
Yeah, I will try to edit out what I can, but if it happens at the same time when Mac's talking, no can do. It's all or nothing at that point. So.
I was going to make a joke about sniping out my window to take out the noise on the freeway, and I realized that probably isn't a good thing to joke about right now.
No. Nope, not good. So we are really getting excited and looking forward to our road trip coming up.
We got BlizzCon coming up.
Going to BlizzCon. Well, for you, a plane flight followed by a road trip. So.
Right. And I'll be staying an extra day down there. I actually ordered my T-shirts out of our swag store.
Yep.
And for some reason, one of the shirts came in, and I believe I misclicked on one of the buttons and was supposed to get a large of one type of shirt and a large of the other type, and I think I actually put the extra large button, so I have an extra shirt for you.
I love how you totally protect Mrs. Mac there, like you order your own stuff. I know better than that.
I had Mrs. Mac order it.
And she got one that was an extra large, but I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think she was just convinced that given enough time and enough beer that you could grow into it. I share that thought.
Just not lengthwise, but widthwise. Right. Oh man, it's getting chilly up here. I mean, we're getting down to. I've actually been wearing a jacket in the mornings. It's still warm enough in the afternoon that I have to take the jacket off by usually about an hour into my shift.
Yeah.
But holy moly.
Yeah, I'm thinking about we were talking BlizzCon. I'm thinking about I'm going to get some shirts, but I'm also thinking about getting a flask. We have a flask with our logo on it, and that would be kind of cool. Because I don't think they're going to let me walk around BlizzCon with a bottle of Fireball. So
you need a flask that says alcohol bleep instead of gold cap. Alcohol cap. Yeah. No.
You mean alcohol bitches? Is that what you mean? Just to be clear.
Dude.
Hey, that's the new shirt, man. It's
You are just so wrong, man. So how has your week been? I mean, I guess I'm doing boxes, started working on my kitchen before I ask you this. We went to move out of the old place, and because we were so close, besides the big stuff, the smaller stuff we were moving out, Mrs. Mac and I, we just, we'll get some of these reusable shopping bags, and we started removing my spices from the cabinets, and how much I like to cook.
Right.
8 of those bags full of spices. So I now have 3 cabinets in my kitchen that have nothing but spices.
Your herb.
Yes,
this is not oregano. How did this get in here? Right?
It's my edibles, yeah. No.
Well, it is legal in Alaska now.
Yeah, not for me. I drive.
Every other person out there is growing it in their backyard, right? Or in their basement. I guess basement would be better.
It is kind of funny because right next to when I'm driving the big rig, and I've got to scale it, right next to the scale house, they've got the commercial grow operation. So as you're pulling up onto the scales, you can smell. It's like, that's just not fair, man.
Like, I got to hold my breath, man, or I'm not going to pass my next test. You're driving through real fast,
It's literally right next door. And when I pull up on the scale to weigh my flour truck.
You know what we call that in California? Entrapment.
Entrapment.
That's what we call it, man. We made it legal out here too. So
it is what it is. The people that don't have to take drug tests for a living are enjoying themselves.
They are.
So, anyways, as I said, I was moving. I had a lot of game time in. What have you been doing the last week and a half?
Well, some people may know about me. I don't know if I talked about it on the show or not, but I keep snakes, and we used to do that actually once upon a time when I lived in Alaska.
We had a lot of reptiles. Yeah,
I think we talked about that at one point, but
I don't think we did. In the podcast.
Keep them here. We talked about the podcast, I think, briefly once.
Okay,
but
we did.
My wife decided that she wanted to get a couple of cats, and so
if you can have snakes, I can have cats. Yeah,
and she doesn't realize that, I guess, that snakes plus cats sometimes equals fat snakes, and math was never a strong suit for her. So I mean, and then followed by that, there's more math. There's married couple minus a husband equals single mom. No, but
so you were trying to figure out why she was buying that wood chipper last week.
Yeah. But
Can use you for mulch.
Luckily, these cats so far have no interest in coming to the reptile room. The snakes are in one room, and they've stayed clear. I don't know if they smell something awry, or if they or if they can read. No, I don't know.
Snakes are looking out in the hallway going, buffet?
No, my snakes aren't big, though, or anything, but...
yeah. At one time we had some larger ones, yeah.
I at one time had some very large ones, but those days are gone. I don't keep the really big ones anymore.
Yeah, but, Mrs. Mack would completely freak out if I had some nowadays, so we just don't do that anymore. Or I don't do that around here.
Yeah. Oh man, so yeah, there's been that. I actually had to go down with her to Southern California, not too far from where BlizzCon's going to be, and pick them up from the breeder, and that was interesting. Anybody who's made a road trip with animals that have never been in a car before, fun.
Oh, you're talking about the cats?
Yeah.
I was thinking snakes.
No, my wife is terrified of snakes, so she's never, been around mine.
That's the way to keep her out of your office. And anyways,
got a drawer you don't want your wife in? Oh, I keep a snake in there. Oh, that drawer is safe. It will never be checked.
Oh man.
Yep. So anyway, that's been my week. Unfortunately, my playtime's been all but zero. I think I got on for a short period of time during that, and it's I have been debating. We have a holiday event coming up that is it's kind of been a mainstay for us. The old Hallows Eve.
Right.
Is it Hallows Eve?
Hallows End.
Hallows End, yeah.
Yeah, well, and you, are you going to get your your mount this year?
I know that's not the question you want to ask me. You're not asking me if I'm going to get it. You're wanting to ask me if I'm going to beat my head against a wall and try to get it. Because we both know that I'm not going to get it. It's just a question of, am I going to convince myself that this year it's going to happen for me?
Oh, y'all group together with you. We can. I just want to group together with you so I can laugh at you when you don't get it.
Yeah, you're the type of person you'd have the entire group on Skype and it'd be like, shh, wait, he's checking. And it's not there.
I'll probably get a duplicate mount, and I'll say to the party, it's like, who wants this?
And then after y'all have a good laugh, it'd be like, same time tomorrow, let's do this. So it makes for a fun time for everyone. Well, 4 out of 5 people.
Well, it's a decent mount. Speaking of mounts, I'm still working on that warrior mount. My 12th class mount.
Yeah.
We talked, I think, about earlier about the mage mount, the class mount. I was not having fun with the class mount there. The warlock was a tougher one.
Yeah.
And I'm now finding out that the warrior class mount is a little more difficult to get than some of the other mounts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still haven't gotten that one. I'm trying to get my warrior's my newest level 110. I'm trying to get his item level up there to hopefully be able to finish that quest there. Well, let's go back to Hallow's End.
Yeah, we've actually, believe it or not, we have a theme for this episode. We're not gonna totally wing it 100%. We do want to talk about the things that are coming around Hallow's End. We've got a few gold making opportunities that are going to be around for a little while, and we can talk about that in some detail.
Right.
And, I'll let you kick it off.
Excuse me while I cough and choke over here. Sorry, the cold's not completely gone. We finished moving, and I had a lot of extra time on my hands. No, I worked a lot trying to get us moved. Mrs. Mack worked, and then I got under the weather, and I've been down for a couple days.
Yeah.
Anyways, Hallow's End. Right now, one of the ways to make gold. It's going to start on the 13th, I believe, this month. But the Coin of Many Faces, we touched on that last podcast, I think, with Dozer Bob.
Right.
But that's one of these items that allows your character to change. You click on the item and allows you to change to any of to change to a variety of different class models, male and female.
You mean races?
Or race models, yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
class models. Race models, male and female, and it's kind of a cool item. It's the cooldown period is like you can use it once a day, so the cooldown kind of sucks on it, but it is kind of cool to use. Where I was able to mess with Mrs. Mack and make my my demon hunter look like a Tauren or a Pandarian, and
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to watch the wings pop out in it. And the Coin of Many Faces. And again, depending on what server you're on, I've seen him going for as high as 39K.
Right.
Dalaran right now, they're even from because you can only get them during Hallow's End. On Dalaran right now, they're only going for 10 or 11K.
Right, but that's in anticipation of them being available again.
Right.
Which brings up an important point. You do want to wait. I would say at least maybe.
I'd give it a couple months, yeah.
I'd give it a minimum of 3 months before you put it up for sale, because initially there are going to be a lot of for sale.
Yeah, the price is going to dip down while the event's going on. Maybe the first day or two you're going to get some decent gold out of them, then the price is going to go way down.
Yeah, and I would say in the 2 months prior to Hallow's End and the 3 months thereafter, to me that would be the 5-month period that I just wouldn't even put any for sale. I would, any that I have for sale, I think I'd take them off the market during that time, because otherwise you're going to be chasing the price down. So you want your prime time. Your prime time obviously is going to be 6 months after. So you're kind of half the year away. It's you're enough past it and long enough before it's going to be available again. That's the prime time to sell them. So if you gather up a bunch of those, which I did last year, I got a bunch. I know you did.
Right, and that's in Draenor. That's off the Isle of Shadows. It's in southern Shadow Moon Valley, kind of off the coast, right when the Hallow's End is happening. There's little skeletons that appear on the coast, and there's a little boat out there you can fly out to and kill stuff on the boat as well. But you just kill the mobs out there, and I've seen posts saying that it's got like a 1% drop rate. It seemed like it was dropping a lot quicker than that for me last year, but you just mass kill the mobs and
I don't think it's a 1. I think it's it seemed like it was about like a 3 to 5 to me.
I was getting them a lot quicker, right? Yeah. There was posts saying that it was 1%, but I seem to get them a lot quicker than that. And I would just go out there and mass kill the skeletons.
No, we were mowing them down real fast.
Oh, yeah.
Area where you can. In fact, we spent a lot of that time virtually by ourselves there, and then it got real populated.
Right.
But that's okay.
Yeah, there's an area out there, and you go late at night or early in the morning or what have you, and you get quite a few of them.
Yeah, I've still got some. I think I still got about 2 or 3 of them from last year. Mine aren't on the market. I won't put them on the market again until a couple months have passed by Hollow's End, and then sell them for top dollar.
No, I'm still their price right now. For what I'm seeing, at least on Dalaran, even a couple of weeks before Hollow's End, the price is up as high or higher than it has been for the last few months. So I do have a couple up for sale on Dalaran.
Yeah, but have you sold any recently?
I have not sold any in the last couple days, so no.
Because my guess would be that people might be holding their price, but when you're talking about that much gold, usually the person that has acquired that much gold has a few brain cells to rub together, and they're going to say, this is probably not the best time for me to get the best deal.
Unless it's that Matt guy. No,
yeah.
And there's another nice gold making opportunity for Hollow's End as well. You've got 4 different battle pets that are available. There are 150 of the tricky treats that you can get through the questing out there for the Hollow's End. Mm-hmm. There's 1 merchant in the Undercity if you're Horde, and 1 in Stormwind. I don't have the names right now on me, but anyways, you can buy the Sinister Squashling, the Feline Familiar. It's a little cat that has a little broom that it rides on. Cursed Berman and Widget the Departed, and those are going for anywhere between I've seen one of the items. The Sinister Squashling was about 2,500 gold. Right. The Feline Familiar was like 25,000. And again, it'll vary depending on which server you're at. But some of the items, even the Cursed Berman and the Widget the Departed, are selling for a decent amount. 20K or so. So
yeah, and that's and you get those for tricky treats, right?
Right, so. 150 tricky treats, and there's some really decent gold we made there.
Right.
On those. Again, right after Hollow's End, prices are, maybe right at the beginning are going to be up there, but towards the end, the price is going to drop in half. And then, as Dex was mentioning earlier, hold on to them for a couple months.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't even think that I would make the rush to sell them at the beginning. There might be some demand that's worth it, but you're going to be up against it on most realms. You're going to be up against some pretty heavy competition, and I just don't see this being viable. I would get it and wait because, as we've stressed many times on this podcast, patience is your friend.
Especially for things like this, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you get into a hurry, you end up spending too much. We've all done this in real life where you really want something really bad and you end up, paying too much for it. And if you need something and you're in a hurry, I've known people that their car, crapped out on them and it was time to get a new car, and they didn't have time to dicker around and try to get a good price and figure things out. They just had to go and buy a car, and it cost them.
No, it's like the Hexweed bags I bought a few months ago, where the price on Dalaran shot way, way down. And I bought a bunch thinking I was going to make, a ton of gold.
Right.
And I held on to them, and I did make gold off of them. But if I would have held on to them for another 3 weeks, I would have made a lot more gold because the price shot back up into the 3,500 range. Where it was down to the 1,900 gold for a while. There was a lot of people that had some cheap Hexweek bags.
Right.
Similar thing.
To me, an easy way to see what we're talking about here is you have certain items that the price of these items, and it works in waves, and it's a very predictable wave, and a lot of people make gold off of this, where it's a predictable wave on a certain item that will be a different price on, say, Wednesday than it is on the weekend. And people will buy more of the item during the expensive time. So the funny thing is, when it's going for so much more, there's also more volume being moved at that time. So more people are being impatient and paying more. You want to be that more rare individual that says, I can wait 3 days, or
right.
I can get it 3 days earlier, and plan ahead and pay less, and things like that can really make a difference. But there are people that make interweek trades that on the auction house, where they will buy low and then sell high on a predictable wave, week in and week out, and that's all they do.
And don't be afraid to hang on to something. There are times when you'll get some guys that'll come in and they'll flood the market with whatever you're selling really, really cheap, and they'll go away, and the price will start climbing back up. So it's one of these things you got to know the market a little bit. Keep an eye on the Undermine Journal, but don't be afraid to hang on to something.
You know what? We all get into situations. I don't want to rant on this too long, but none of us are immune from this, where we'll get into a situation where we'll be watching the auction house pretty regularly for a couple of items that we personally want that aren't available very often. And you're cruising along, and let's say an item that you have wanted for 2 years shows up on the auction house, and it's $1 million gold less than what you've ever seen it for before, but it's also 500,000 more than what you have.
Happens.
You're gonna sell a lot of your inventory, a lot of your stuff that you've got, as quickly as you can, as cheaply as you need to, right? Because you've got an urgency there. So personal urgency is not your friend, and sometimes we can't avoid that. But
that happened on my honeymoon. I
have to say, the day that I find that rooster egg for sale at a really good price is going to be the day that I am over. Let's just say that I'll probably be overextended in investments. So
somebody with Sniper will be going, ooh, piece of candy.
I'll be overextended in investments, and won't have the liquid gold to spend, and it'll be there at a great price, and I'll have to hack Mac's account or something. It's gonna get ugly, and then the makeup sex will be awkward.
Yeah, you're just going to take that joke too far today.
That's what we call a callback. So.
Dude.
Man. Anyway, but yeah. So timing's kind of everything on that. I know we talked about you were talking about the battle pets that you can buy and sell. So besides that, was there something else from Hollow's End that in the Coin of Many Faces? Besides that, there was something we were keeping an eye on?
Those are the two bigger gold making items. You can do the little quests out there that you do and turn in. There's a little gold to be made there, but the coin of, again, this is something you're going to be selling later on down the road. It's not going to make you a ton of gold right away, but if you can hold on to it in your bags. The Coin of Many Faces, all four of the battle pets. That's where the gold's going to be at during the Hollow's End thing.
Yeah, and of course, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna see if I can get the headless horseman. It's an ugly mount, but I'm gonna.
It's always an ugly mount until you get it. Then it's like, it's kind of nice. Like.
It's a number. I'll just for giggles, I'll try to get it, but I'm not going to do what I've done in years past and throw 20 alts at it. I'm not going to do that.
I don't have that many alts left on my single. No, I do, but.
Well, do you have to be 110 now to do it? It was last year. It was you had to be level 100, right?
I can't remember whether you had to be max level when it started last year.
I think it was 100 last year, but it'll probably be 110 this year. And I only have 2 110s, so if that's the case, I'd only be able to do it on 2 anyway.
Well, just know that your new tunes that you're bringing up in level. There are some catch-up mechanics now. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
That are available for you, so you can level your tune a little, or at least get a little better gear on them.
Now, all of those require actually logging into the game, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just because I think that's been my difficulty there. I think that's what's been holding me back is not logging in enough. So
real life has been kicking our butts the last couple months. For me, not so much the last couple months, but the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I apologize to Faffer and folks over there at the Lion's Pride Tavern. The last 2 weeks, I have not been at the raid.
Has their success rate gone up significantly in that time, or?
He did kill Jaden without me again.
Did you get any thank you cards or anything like that?
Their success rate's gone up since I've left. No, little by little, I was boxing things up and getting things ready, so I was packing. It just wasn't available. But
yeah, they're like no apology necessary.
Now on October 14th, if I think that's the right date. That's when they're doing that. There's the in-game gnome run.
Right.
We talked about.
Yes.
And I'll have to put that on our Discord or our Facebook, but I should have looked it up before we started the podcast today. But Goblin Goldcast and Lion's Pride Tavern.
There are a lot of podcasts that they're gonna participate.
Right. But they're actually doing one on a specific server. We'll talk about it on our next podcast. We're getting pretty close to it, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. So we'll have to get that information out. If you can get it on the Facebook page or something,
Right. Yeah, Twitter. They're gonna meet up on and I'm trying to remember the name of the server, but we're gonna meet up on a specific server and make level one gnomes with the pink hair. It won't necessarily be the in-game micro holiday, but we're gonna do the gnome run with level one gnomes.
Yep.
With pink hair and do the run, Jiminy Christmas, I can't remember the name of the server. I just thought about that when we were doing the podcast, but we'll get it handled.
And we'll get drunk. Got to be drunk, right?
Well, you and I will. But,
we will, of course.
We're going to make our character names. Lion's Pride Tavern's going to put, when they make the characters' names, they're going to do LPT for all their listeners, Lion's Pride Tavern, and then the name of the character. For us, it'd be just GG, Goblin Goldcast, or GGC, Goblin Goldcast, and then the character name. And I'll get the name of the server.
GG, not GGC. Goldcast is one word.
Oh, that's true.
Just GG. People can think what they want.
There we go. Well, anyways, you'll make your tune, GG, and then the name of the tune. And that way we can see their listeners and our listeners joining up on the server. And I should have looked this up before the podcast started. If you want to take a break, I can take a minute and look.
No, that's all right. We can put it on our social media and all that.
Right.
And if you get the information to me before I post this episode up, I can actually put it in the information on the MP3 and on the website. So
we'll get that up there. I had it written down, but since we've moved, all of my papers and everything are in boxes, so I don't have all that information.
Mac hasn't had his brain unpacked yet. It's still packed in a box somewhere.
Well, that's happened for years. Brain has been pickled.
Before we started recording the podcast, we of course like to go and peruse the different websites and so forth, and we've mentioned this before. Not to be missed is WoW Economy on Reddit. You definitely want to check that out. Anybody out there that doesn't check it out, you're really missing something. A lot of great people there and a lot of great information being shared.
They also have an awesome Discord server.
Yes. And I happened to notice, and I mentioned it to Mac when we were doing our prep. I said, "Oh, hey, look, somebody had a little blurb on there, a little thread." And I'll just tell you about the thread. Somebody was pointing out on there, and apologies to the person that the OP on that, because I did not write down what your name is. But if you go there, you'll see their thread, and they had discovered that if you are herbing on your class mount as a druid, and you've got a buddy,
you've got the flight form, right?
right. You've got a buddy with you running around that not only can you herb without being dismounted, but so can your rider. And they were talking about pairing up with a buddy and double tapping
getting double herbs, yeah.
Right.
And we had to test this out just to make sure it was actually working.
Yeah, I mean, so people in the thread had said things like, "Who has friends?" and stuff like that, and kind of gave him trouble. And I think he defended himself and said, "Hey, I never claimed to have friends. This is for information purposes, But what occurred to me was, if you're the type of person that has two accounts, like Mac and I used to, till we put our second accounts on hold, you could put your second tune from your other account on there and just double your rate of gathering herbs, just quite simply double it. And so I was talking to Mac about it, and he said, "Well, we could log in right now and check that." See if it works. I was like,
it'd be nice to test it before we talk about it.
Let's do that. Let's do that before we talk. And so we decided to go in, and unlike CNN, we wanted to do our own research on this and not just take it as fact, right? Open our mouths about it and have somebody say, "You're fake news." So we didn't want to do that. So we went in.
I think I've been told I'm fake.
So we popped into the game trying to make Azeroth great again. See what I did there? And we flew around and we picked some herbs, and nobody got dismounted, and it worked. And so anyway, I screenshotted it and I sent it to CNN and said, "This is how you do it." And so now they know for their next news story they'll be ready. But anyway. They'll be
talking about Azeroth and World of Warcraft. Yeah. There we go. No, but it does work. It does work if you've got somebody who's. You could get a bunch of people together. Get a druid with the class mount, the flying form.
Right.
Have a friend with you. Go along. I mean, you could. I mean, we know double tapping is available, but you could make a decent amount of gold farming that way.
Right.
Either with a single, with double accounts for one person, or just a couple friends flying around together. That some decent gold to be made.
Right, and it'd make it less boring. I mean, if you're you could say, well, yeah, the two of us, both druids, and we just kind of follow each other to the same herbs. But the problem is on that, you would have to really stay together because too much time passes, or that 10th person hits it before your second character gets a chance to get it. You kind of miss out on it. And we actually on the first herb we tried, we thought it was a bust because we just happened to hit one that was tapped out and was vanishing. And so first herb was a fail, but then we did a couple after that, 2, 3, 4 of them. And it
just to test it out. It worked fine.
Yep. So definitely worked out. And so if you're able to take advantage of that, if you're already herbing right now and you have a second account that also has herbalism on it, absolutely get out there and take advantage of it. You are leaving money on the table otherwise.
Right. Or if you just get a gold, if you've got a buddy who's a druid that has the current class, mount flight form, so to speak, that's an herbalist. Fly along, make some extra gold.
There you go.
Get your farming buddy. Dex and I, we like to smart off to each other as we're doing stuff like that. It keeps us from falling asleep when we're farming.
Oh yeah, and it's one of those things you can make something that's normally pretty solitary, more social for you, and like I said, like Max said, it keeps you awake, keeps you keeps you from falling asleep with the keys,
For us, it keeps us entertained. Yeah.
Why am I in the graveyard? Well.
and as we've said before, Dex and I occasionally we're on our Discord channel. You can leave messages there. The Discord information is on our Facebook. So if you go to our Facebook page, you'll be able to find our Discord. But he and I go there from time to time, and right. I mean, again, we can't be there 24/7. But if you're there when we're there, we'll yak with you.
I think it's important that we mention, though, that unlike the podcast, there's no bleeping that goes on the Discord server, and Mac and I will. Let's face it, mainly me. When I'm not recording the podcast, I let some words fly. So if you are the type of person that gets offended by very irreverent speech and somebody that gets way too drunk to still be talking, or if you're under the age of 18, please don't.
Parental guidance suggested.
Yeah.
Strongly suggested.
I don't want anybody to pop on there and say, well, I've listened to the podcast and these guys don't even let any
These
bad
guys
words
are
slip
really...
through. They're so wholesome. I've told my mother about them. Please don't. Because
we do keep the Discord channel PG-13.
It's kind of like if back in the day, and I'm dating myself by bringing up this show, but it's like if back in the day you watched the show Full House, like my daughter watches reruns of that now and she loves it. But if you watched Full House back in the day and then you said, oh, I love that Bob Saget, I'm going to go to his comedy routine, you would get a shock. But my daughter, I guess they've got a Fuller House. It's like a sequel to
right. What happened later, right?
Yeah, because in Hollywood they don't ever come up with an original idea. They have to find something that was successful before and milk it to death. But my daughter watched Fuller House and didn't even know that Full House existed. And I said, oh, that's like a continuation of a show that I used to watch. And she was like, Tim Allen, you catch it? She had to check that out, and then now she likes that better than the other one, and she's telling me about.
No, who wouldn't? I mean,
well, you know why? Because it's an older show, and they used to make shows better.
We sound like some old jaded men.
Well, except Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones rocks. It rocks. I am so much in. I know we're getting off on a tangent, but this is the Goblin Goldcast. But I'm really enjoying.
We never do that.
I'm completely up to date on Game of Thrones, and if you're not, stick your fingers in your ears right now and go la 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 la. No, I'm kidding. Not going to do anything bad about that. But I couldn't believe that they killed Tyrion. Anyway, no, but my wife is she started from the first episode because she wouldn't watch it with me from before, and so I'm watching them all again. And it gets to a certain part where a character is going to die or something big's going to happen, and I'm not watching the screen. I'm watching her for her freak out. It's very entertaining. I highly recommend it if you're a Game of Thrones person. Convince somebody else to watch it from the beginning, and then just film them while they're watching it. It's
kind of like the old Sopranos, yeah.
Yeah.
He got whacked. What?
Yeah. It's always nice to know what's going to happen before somebody else. It's great.
I do a similar thing where I'll find a show, I'll start watching it, and then Mrs. Mack will get interested. Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of times, what is this? I'm not sure I like this. And then, a week later, it's like, are we going to watch that show again this week? Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, listen, I think that's going to about wrap up this week's episode. I'd like to thank Schaefer Bates for his awesome work as the Goblin voice at the beginning of each show. I Also, Kevin McLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme music, Hot Rock, licensed under Creative Commons.
If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can contact us at Mac, that's M-A-C, at GoblinGoldcast.com, or Dex, that's D-E-X, at GoblinGoldcast.com. If you can't reach us on our main email, we have an alternate email, MacGoblinGoldcast at gmail.com. You can contact us on Twitter at Goblin Goldcast. You can visit us on Facebook, or you can join our Discord channel.
If you'd like to support the show, don't forget to visit the swag store at cafepress.com/Goblin Goldcast. And you can leave us a voicemail on our website, GoblinGoldcast.com. And please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or Player FM. You can listen to us there.
And we'll see you next week.
Now go and make some gold.
I know that you got opinions, but won't you consider this? Your skin tone oppresses millions, so just quiet down a bit. Come join me in gender studies, come get a useless degree. And when you make garbage money, take no responsibility. Come be PC, come be PC. Things are so splendid when you're offended, take it from me. We're fighting for progress, can't you see? Silencing all who might disagree. So respectfully, be a cry bully, come BBC.
I don't need your disrespect. Why are you doing that? Everyone safe.
Come join us in our safe spaces, our shelters from points of view. And maybe on rare occasions, we'll let you think something new. But if we deem your thoughts toxic, we might have to shut you down. And if you critique our logic, better use our preferred pronouns. Come be PC. Come be PC. Our low-key racism is heroism, obviously. Let's all fight for the little guy from our parents' mansions online. Come join our prison, look what you're missing. Come be PC. Come be PC. We're a collective, varied perspectives must go unseen. Different opinions are okay, as long as they're different in the same way. Come join our cult, it's not difficult, oh come be PC.